Welcome back to the Exposure History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Operation Rolling Thunder roared across Vietnam's skies. American pilots flew over 300,000 missions. Nearly 8 million tons of bombs fell on the land below. The campaign aimed to crush North Vietnam's will to fight. Instead, it deepened the scars of war. Smoke, fire, and loss marked every mission's end. British prisoners march alongside German soldiers in the final months of World War I. The year is 1918, and exhaustion shows on every face. The war's end is near, yet suffering continues. Once enemies, now all share the same weariness of battle. Hiru Onoda stands in the center, a man lost in time. He was a Japanese soldier who refused to surrender. For 29 long years, he hid in the jungles of the Philippines. He believed the war still raged on. Rain, hunger, and loneliness became his daily battle. Villagers tried to tell him it was over, but he never believed them. A young girl stares blankly at the camera in S-21 prison. It's 1979, during the Khmer Rouge's brutal rule. Fear and confusion fill her eyes. Thousands would never leave this place alive. A lifeboat drifts in the cold Atlantic. Inside, Titanic survivors cling to life. The year is 1912. Fear, grief, and shock fill the silence. The greatest ship has just met its fate. This is Istvan Reiner, a 3-year-old boy from Miskolc, Hungary. The photo was taken in the ghetto before deportation. Soon after, he was sent to Auschwitz. He was killed in the gas chamber in 1944. His innocent face is one of millions lost. A bold protest poster from the Vietnam War era. It reads, "Girls say yes to boys who say no." The message is clear and defiant. Refusing the draft became a symbol of courage. Young Americans stood against a war they didn't believe in. This image captured the spirit of resistance and change. Health workers teach Papuans how to use condoms in 1990. The scene is from Papua New Guinea, where awareness was growing. It was part of a wider push to fight HIV and improve health. Education and prevention became tools of survival. At the Tbilisi Oncology Institute in 1967, a strange experiment unfolds. A rabbit is made to smoke a cigarette. Scientists study the effects of tobacco on living tissue. The image captures both curiosity and cruelty. It reflects an era when science often crossed ethical lines. Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini meet in 1941. They shake hands warmly, smiling for the cameras. Behind the gesture lies a deadly alliance. Their partnership would plunge Europe deeper into war. The photo hides the darkness their friendship would unleash. Prisoners at Dachau lift their arms in joy on April 29, 1945. American soldiers are approaching, bringing freedom after years of horror. Faces once marked by despair now shine with hope. The nightmare of the camp is finally ending. The bodies of Benito Mussolini and Clara Petacci hang in Piazzale Loreto, Milan. It is April 28, 1945, and the war nears its end. Crowds gather, shouting and jeering at the fallen dictator. The scene marks the violent downfall of fascism in Italy. Uzbek schoolgirls sit in a math class in Tashkent, 1921. Their faces are fully covered, even their eyes hidden. The image reflects a time of strict tradition and modesty. Education was rare for girls, yet change was beginning to stir. Mick Jagger and Bianca Perez Mora Macias pose on their wedding day, May 12, 1971. The Rolling Stones frontman and the Nicaraguan beauty became the era's most glamorous couple. Their bold style and fame turned the ceremony into a spectacle. It was rock and romance in perfect sync. Young Kyung Jong, a Korean soldier, lived a life shaped by war. He fought for 3 armies during World War II, first Japan, then the Soviet Union, and finally Germany. Each capture forced him into another uniform. His story reveals the chaos and tragedy of divided loyalties. A German man stands shamed in public, 1935. A sign around his neck reads, "I am a defiler of the race." He is accused of associating with a Jewish woman. The scene shows the cruelty of Nazi racial laws. Humiliation was used as a weapon of control. At Palisades Park, New Jersey, babies crawl toward cheering parents in 1955. The baby race was pure fun and laughter. Tiny competitors inch forward while the crowd roars. It's a light-hearted glimpse of post-war American family life. In Singapore, 1942, Japanese troops use prisoners of war for target practice. It is not an execution, but a brutal exercise. The photos reveal chilling scenes of cruelty and dehumanization. War stripped away every trace of mercy. In 2011, a dog named Leon refused to leave her owner's grave. She sat there for 2 days after deadly landslides near Rio de Janeiro. Her silent vigil spoke of loyalty beyond words. Amid the wreckage, love remained unbroken. The night Prohibition ended, America celebrated with raised glasses. By the 1930s, the ban on alcohol had clearly failed. The 18th Amendment had done little to stop drinking. Instead, it fueled bootlegging and empowered organized crime. Tax revenues vanished while corruption grew. In 1931, amid the Great Depression, Champagne Fred Bell stands on a street corner in San Francisco. Once a millionaire, he now sells apples to survive. The stock market crash stripped him of everything. His story mirrors the fall of a nation's dreams. At the Bronx Zoo in 1967, Hippo Phoebe and her baby turn away. The camera clicks, but they refuse to pose. Their stubborn charm delights onlookers. It's a tender, funny moment of wild defiance. Until the 1960s, Australia's Aborigines were cruelly classified under the Flora and Fauna Act. They were treated as part of nature, not as human beings. This legal injustice stripped them of rights and dignity. The policy stands as a dark reminder of racism written into law. In 1909, prisoners clean the streets of Washington, USA. Dressed in striped uniforms, they work under guard. The scene shows punishment mixed with public labor. It reflects an era when hard work was seen as reform. In 1920, the women's figure skating event was held first, following the ladies' first tradition. Magda Julin of Sweden, married to a sea captain 15 years older, led the competition. She outperformed teammates Svea Norén, Britain's Phyllis Johnson, Norway's Margot Moe, and America's Teresa Weld Blanchard. In the 1940s and 1950s, bullet bras became a bold fashion trend. Their conical, pointed shape created a sharp, structured silhouette. Hollywood stars like Marilyn Monroe and Lana Turner made them iconic. The style symbolized glamour, confidence, and post-war femininity. It remains one of the most distinctive looks in fashion history. On March 23, 1923, the Ku Klux Klan held a rally at Crystal Pool in Seattle. Hooded members gathered beneath blazing crosses and banners. The event drew crowds and revealed the Klan's growing influence in the Northwest. It was a chilling reminder of hatred parading as unity. It's 1910, and the beach in Atlantic City is alive with energy. Crowds gather along the shore in their best summer attire. Women wear long dresses and hats. Men sport striped swimsuits. The boardwalk buzzes with laughter, chatter, and the scent of salt air. Families pose for photos while children splash in the waves. On April 17, 1962, chaos erupted in Durban, South Africa. Women protesting a ban on homemade alcohol clashed with police. After burning a brewery in defiance, they faced brutal retaliation. Officers beat them with batons, trying to crush their resistance. The scene captured the violence of apartheid rule. Sumitu Taniguchi stands quietly, holding a haunting photograph of himself. The image shows him just after the Nagasaki bombing, his body burned and broken. Decades later, he bears both the scars and the memory. His story reminds the world of nuclear horror and human endurance. In February 1948, Police round up war orphans in an underpass in Ueno, Tokyo. The children, homeless after World War II, huddle in the cold. Their faces show exhaustion beyond their years. Japan is rebuilding, but its smallest victims are still forgotten. The photo captures the quiet tragedy of survival after war. In the 1940s, United States, an African-American man bends to drink from a segregated fountain. A sign above reads, "For colored people only." The moment exposes the cruelty of Jim Crow laws. Ordinary acts were divided by race and hate. The image stands as a stark reminder of America's painful past. In 1903, the first Harley-Davidson motorcycle rolled to life. Its engine was simple and rugged. Its carburetor was made from a tomato can. Two young builders used whatever they could find. Their workshop was a shed, small and crowded. Ingenuity mattered more than money or tools. Taken in 1938, this is the last known photo of the Javan tiger. The majestic animal prowls through the forest, unaware of its fate. Within decades, deforestation and hunting wiped out the species. Its silent disappearance marks a tragic chapter in conservation history. Two engineers stand atop a burning wind turbine, trapped with no escape. Smoke rises as flames close in around them. In their final moments, they share one last embrace. One leaps to his death, the other is consumed by fire. The image captures the raw heartbreak of courage, fear, and fate intertwined. Duff McKagan was the last musician to see Kurt Cobain alive. They sat side by side on a flight to Seattle, talking for hours. Duff sensed something heavy in Kurt's words, a quiet sadness beneath the surface. 2 days later, Kurt ended his life. That flight became a haunting memory of friendship, fame, and loss. In 1919, the Eaton's Red Wings women's hockey team posed proudly in Moncton, New Brunswick. Dressed in wool uniforms and laced skates, they stood with confidence. At a time when women's sports were rare, they broke barriers on the ice. Their determination and skill paved the way for generations of female athletes to come. In 1998, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon beam with joy backstage at the Oscars. Moments earlier, they won for Good Will Hunting. Now they're on the phone, calling their families to share the news. Two lifelong friends living their dream at last. The moment is pure, real, and unforgettable. In 1977, Bob Marley walks through London on his way to court. He's been accused of marijuana possession, but stays calm and composed. Cameras follow as fans cheer him on. His spirit seems unshaken, his smile defiant. The moment captures Marley's unbreakable belief in peace, freedom, and truth. On October 5, 1948, a massive earthquake struck the Turkmen SSR. The city of Ashkabat was reduced to rubble within minutes. Around 110,000 lives were lost in the devastation. Entire neighborhoods vanished beneath collapsed buildings. It remains one of the deadliest quakes in Soviet history. In 1967, officials gather around the wreckage of a fallen spacecraft. Inside are the remains of cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov. His mission ended in tragedy when Soyuz 1 crashed on re-entry. Komarov became the first person to die in spaceflight. The charred debris tells a story of courage, sacrifice, and the high cost of exploration. In 1922, beauty pageant winners pose with poise and pride. Their dresses are modest, their smiles shy but confident. The era celebrates elegance over glamour, grace over fame. These women mark the early days of modern pageantry, a moment when beauty met tradition in a changing world. On May 2, 1963, over 1,000 students left their classrooms in Birmingham, Alabama. They gathered at the 16th Street Baptist Church to march. Police arrested hundreds, filling buses and wagons with children. The next day, more protesters returned to the streets. Bull Connor ordered fire hoses, clubs, and dogs against them. In 1943, during the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, a Jewish man leaps from a window. Flames and gunfire consume the ghetto as Nazis close in. He chooses death over capture, a final act of defiance. The moment captures both unbearable tragedy and unbreakable courage. In the 1940s, Charlie Chaplin and Nha O'Neill share a quiet moment together. He, a world-famous comedian, and she, the daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill. Their love faced gossip and disbelief due to their age gap. Yet their bond endured through decades. It's a timeless snapshot of love beyond fame and judgment. In March 1936, a rural mother and her 3 children sit in a field near the Tennessee River. Their faces show the toll of the Great Depression. Home is a makeshift shelter, surrounded by mud and struggle. Yet there's quiet strength in the mother's gaze. Even in hardship, she holds her family together. In the mid-1880s, diving horses thrilled crowds across America. These shows featured horses leaping from platforms up to 60 feet high into pools below. The spectacle mixed awe with danger, drawing massive audiences. Riders often joined the plunge, clinging tight as the horse dove. In Nha Trang on April 1, 1975, chaos fills the airfield. Crowds of desperate people rush toward a departing plane. The U.S. withdrawal from South Vietnam has begun, and panic spreads fast. Families cling to each other, fearing they'll be left behind. Soldiers struggle to control the crowd. In 2001, a couple poses for a photo in New York, unaware of the unfolding disaster behind them. The Twin Towers burn in the distance as smoke fills the sky. The contrast is haunting, love and catastrophe in a single frame. What began as a joyful moment became part of history's darkest day. In 1975, disaster struck as the Tasman Bridge in Australia collapsed. 2 supports and 3 sections plunged into the water below. A passing ship had struck the structure, tearing it apart. 7 crew members and 5 motorists lost their lives. The tragedy left the city of Hobart divided for years. In 1937 Louisiana, a mother sits with her children, teaching them by lamplight. The room is simple, the love unmistakable. Books are scarce, but patience fills the space. Her lesson is more than reading or writing. It's hope for a better life. On May 29, 1953, Edmund Hillary captured this historic moment. Tenzing Norgay stands atop Mount Everest, holding his ice axe in triumph. The 2 climbers had conquered the world's highest peak. Wind howled, snow whipped, but victory filled the air. It was a moment of courage, endurance, and shared glory. In the 1940s, American burlesque dancer Miss Zarita strolls confidently with her snake. The crowd watches in fascination as glamour meets danger. Her poise and daring style make her unforgettable. It's a glimpse into the bold, playful world of vintage burlesque. In 1916, during the brutal Battle of Verdun, a wounded French soldier is carried by 2 German soldiers. Amid the chaos and destruction, compassion breaks through the war's fury. Mud, blood, and exhaustion surround them, yet humanity endures. The scene stands as a rare glimpse of mercy in a world consumed by violence. At Gang Tai Temple in Beijing, former imperial palace eunuchs sit for portraits. Their faces tell stories of devotion, loss, and quiet dignity. Captured by photographer Hedda Morrison, these men once served emperors in silence. Now they pose as living remnants of a vanished world. In 1916, French soldiers trudge through the thick mud of Verdun. Their uniforms are soaked, their faces hardened by war. Shells thunder in the distance as they press forward. Every step is a struggle in one of history's bloodiest battles. From the ruins of Stalingrad, Yakov Rimkin captured a quiet miracle. Amid the smoke and silence, a lone cat appeared. The city was dead, yet this small life endured. Soldiers, hardened by months of battle, reached out gently. Their rough hands, used to rifles, now cradled hope. The cat became a symbol of life in a place of death. In 2003, Metallica brought their thunderous sound to San Quentin prison. Inmates lined the yard, faces lit with shock and excitement. The band tore through their set with raw energy. Behind the barbed wire, music briefly broke through the walls. It was a rare moment of rebellion and connection. In 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, a U.S. naval ship closes in on a Soviet freighter. The ocean is tense, silence heavy, with the threat of war. One wrong move could ignite global catastrophe. The standoff at sea becomes a symbol of Cold War brinkmanship. Humanity teeters on the edge, waiting for reason to prevail. In the 1980s, Volvo staged a bold demonstration of engineering strength. Cars were stacked one atop another, forming a tower of steel. The display proved the brand's reputation for safety and durability. Crowds watched in awe as the structure held firm. It was marketing with muscle, pure Volvo confidence on display. In 1941, as the German army advanced toward Moscow, the city's women took up shovels instead of rifles. With most men fighting at the front, thousands of women dug anti-tank trenches around the capital. Working through cold winds and air raid sirens, they turned frozen soil into the city's first line of defense. In 1941, one of the few complete human nervous systems ever preserved was displayed after an extraordinary anatomical effort. The process took more than 1,000 hours, requiring delicate separation of every nerve from the body while keeping the system intact. Freed slaves aboard HMS Daphne, 1868. The British Royal Navy ship was part of the anti-slavery patrol off the coast of East Africa, rescuing men, women, and children from slave dhows bound for Arabia. Many of the freed captives were taken to safety in Zanzibar. On August 12, 2000, two powerful explosions ripped through the Russian nuclear submarine Kursk during a naval exercise in the Barents Sea. The blasts, triggered by a torpedo malfunction, sent the vessel to the ocean floor with all 118 crew members trapped inside. In 1986, during Brazil's gold rush at the Serra Pelada mines, thousands of men descended into massive open pits carved from the earth by hand. The scene looked almost biblical, with endless lines of mud-covered workers hauling sacks of earth up steep slopes in search of a few glittering flakes of gold. Several German companies powered the Nazi war machine in World War II. IG Farben made synthetic fuel and the deadly Zyklon B gas. Krupp built tanks and heavy guns. Siemens supplied electrical gear and communications. BMW and Daimler-Benz produced engines and trucks. Volkswagen made military vehicles. A man stands with a punt gun, a massive shotgun once used for duck hunting. The weapon was so large it had to be mounted on a small boat called a punt. A single shot could take down 50 birds or more. It was popular among market hunters in the 1800s who sold ducks for profit. An exhausted trader sits in disbelief after Black Monday, October 19, 1987, the worst day in stock market history. Panic swept through Wall Street as markets crashed around the world. Billions were lost in hours, and traders watched years of gains vanish. The chaos exposed flaws in the system and forced new safeguards. High above New York City, workers rest on a steel beam during the construction of the Empire State Building. No harnesses, no safety nets, just courage and calm. The photo captures the daring spirit of the 1930s when men built the skyline by hand. They ate, joked, and relaxed hundreds of feet in the air. The dining room aboard the Hindenburg was a masterpiece of elegance and innovation. Passengers enjoyed fine meals as soft light glowed across white tablecloths and polished silverware. The airship floated smoothly above the clouds, while music played from the grand piano nearby. In post-war Hamburg, even elephants lent their strength to rebuild what was lost. Circus elephants lumbered through the ruined streets, their trunks wrapped around twisted steel. A bombed-out garage stood silent as they pulled a wrecked car from the rubble. Their massive forms moved with calm precision amid the destruction. Chattar Manzil Palace stood proudly on the banks of the Gomti River in 1858. Its reflection shimmered on the water, crowned by the king's magnificent boat shaped like a giant fish. The palace, with its domes and arches, carried the grandeur of Awad's royal past. The boat drifted gently, a symbol of luxury and power. Grozny's city center lay in ruins in the spring of 1995. Buildings stood shattered, streets buried under debris. Smoke drifted through the air as silence replaced the sound of life. The war had stripped the city of color and joy. Burnt walls and twisted steel told stories of chaos and loss. People moved like shadows among the wreckage. A window cleaner dangles high above New York City on the World Trade Center in 1979. The city stretches endlessly below, cars like dots and people like ants. The wind whips hard against the glass, but he stays calm, steady, focused. One wrong move could mean disaster. His harness creaks, his bucket sways. In 1901, a hunting dog discovered something unusual near the Berezovka River in Siberia. Paleontologist Eugene Feisenmeyer set out to investigate. His expedition battled bitter cold and endless snow for 4 long months. What they uncovered was astonishing: a woolly mammoth preserved in ice. Winston Churchill stands at Fort Jackson in 1942, speaking into a portable radio. In his hands is the Galvin SCR 536, the world's first handheld radio. Built by Galvin Manufacturing, later known as Motorola, it marked a new era of communication. The device, small yet powerful, connected troops across the battlefield. Japanese gangsters known as the Yakuza stand together in 1960, their suits sharp, their tattoos hidden beneath. They ruled the streets with silence and fear. Cigarettes burn slowly between fingers. Eyes watch every move. Loyalty and power defined their code. In smoky bars and back alleys, deals were sealed with a nod. A penguin stands calmly as a Moscow journalist crouches with a microphone in 1966. The scene feels surreal yet charming. The bird looks composed, almost curious about the strange human gesture. Laughter fills the air behind the camera. It's winter, the streets are icy, and yet this light-hearted moment cuts through the chill. William Harley and Arthur Davidson pose proudly on their motorcycles in 1914. The founders of Harley-Davidson stand at the dawn of a revolution in motor engineering. Their machines are raw and powerful, built by hand with vision and grit. The photo breathes the spirit of invention when speed was still a dream. Scientists testing condoms in a lab, 1935. The process is serious and precise, not comedic as some might imagine. Each condom is checked for leaks, strength, and quality under strict conditions. It was part of growing efforts to make birth control safer and more reliable. A woman searches empty shelves in a Moscow grocery store, 1990. The scene reflects a nation caught between collapse and change. The Soviet system is crumbling, and scarcity defines daily life. Bread, milk, even soap are hard to find. Her tired eyes mirror the uncertainty of millions facing an unknown future. The Empire State Building bears the scars of a 1945 tragedy. A B-25 bomber, lost in thick fog, crashed into the 79th floor. Flames erupted, glass shattered, and debris rained over New York City. 14 people lost their lives that morning. The building's steel frame, though torn open, stood firm against the impact. In 1991, Kuwait burned under a black sky as oil fields raged in flames. Iraqi troops, retreating from the Gulf War, set over 700 wells on fire. Firefighters from around the world arrived to battle the inferno. They faced searing heat, toxic smoke, and explosions that lit the desert day and night. An Inuit man gently warms his wife's feet in the frozen Arctic, 1880s Greenland. The moment is simple, yet deeply human, a gesture of warmth in a world of ice. Their faces show resilience, shaped by cold winds and endless winters. Life here is survival, built on care and connection. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on anything.